I love telling the story of the cemetery. It's a wonderful place, and we're very lucky as a municipality to have this sort of jewel in our crown. So, having said all that, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you my good friend Scarlett Boudreau, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the program this evening. So, Ms. Boudreau.
Hi, and thank you all for coming tonight. We want to, especially all of us that participate in this program, thank Rob. He's the director here of the cemetery and quite a sweetheart. Those of us that are in the program would also like to thank the producers. We've got Audrey Kelly and Bruce Kelly, and they do all of the historical research for the program. And then there's Linda Benson, who does the story adaptations. And of course, the troupe of players that you're going to meet. Now, a lot of people come to Alaska, to Anchorage, for so many reasons. Adventure, running from the law, fast money they think they'll make quickly, hiding from family or friends. There's just a lot of reasons why we end up here. Now tonight, you're going to meet 10 Anchorage residents who did make some sort of an impact on us while they were here. And they're all being portrayed by our players, actors, acting group. So we'll start with Red Barton, who died in 1934. Now, he was a miner and a trapper. He was a fox farmer who started a business at 5th and Gamble, which is a little bit different today than it was then. So Red Barber, who is portrayed by Nate Benson.
Hello, everyone. My name is G.B. Barber, but you can call me Red, as nearly everyone does. Now, I was born in Pentwater, Michigan in 1875. My mother died when I was very young, and I was raised by my father, William G. Barber. Now, he was a successful businessman, part owner of the Diamond Matchbook Company. He was good at what he did. He kept the Diamond Matchbook Company going when 70 other matchbook companies across the United States were going out of business due to the arrival of the electric light. Now, Father, he loved food. He took me to all the best places growing up. Smartly dressed waiters serving 4 or 5 mouth-watering courses on platters of hammered silver. Whenever he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I always told him, a chef. And he'd give me his nod of approval. Well, after a few years, he made arrangements for me to go to the Sorbonne in Paris. He told me that if you're going to be a chef, then you're going to be a great chef. I can still see that gleam of hope in his eye. I did not become a great chef. It became very apparent to me upon my arrival in Paris that I was completely out of my depth. I returned home a couple of years later when my father died. In 1892, I sold my shares of his business to my brothers because I'd heard about all of the money that was to be made in Alaska. So I made my way there. I spent a few years prospecting and mining, but I never made much of a go at it. I needed to find a better way to make a living, and at the height of the gold rush, I had found it. Potatoes. Hauling them through the Chilkoot Pass. Now, a miner's diet consisted mostly of sourdough bread and beans. Well, how do we give these hard-working boys a break from such a monotonous meal? Potatoes. Full of good food value and will fill a hungry miner's belly. I did all right for myself. And after a while, I was finally able to open my own restaurant in Valdez, Alaska. Now, this was not the cosmopolitan sort of establishment that Father had always envisioned for me, but it was my place. A young lady from Finland became my pie baker. Now, a good pie crust it consists of lard, a few other ingredients, and is rolled very thin. Old Fanny, she knew the way. Between her pies and my cooking, while not up to Parisian standards, was more than adequate for Valdez, Alaska. Together we equaled success. And I married Fanny in 1909. You do not let go of a good baker. We had 2 boys, William and Edward. And I opened a second restaurant. 2 restaurants and 2 fine young lads. The boys, they grew up and did all right for themselves. The restaurants, they burned to the ground. So in 1917, we made our way to Anchorage. And I bought a lot at 5th and Gamble, not too far from here. And I started a fox farm. It's a good trade, a tough trade. For the pens, chicken wire has to be buried 6 feet deep, much like I am over there. Do that so that the fox can't burrow their way out. It has to be kept quiet. If a female fox is disturbed, she'll eat her young. To kill the fox, the single motion of breaking the neck and crushing the chest has to be performed to perfection. I was a long way from Paris. In 1934, I was hunting for moose at Otter Lake, and it was there that I had a heart attack and died. Fanny, she stayed in Anchorage, and she remarried. She and her second husband are buried next to me. Fanny is laid to rest between her 2 favorite men, and she could not be happier. Folks, that's my story. I hope you enjoy your evening at the cemetery, and the next time that you enjoy potatoes at your meal, you think of Old Red. Thank you.